Chapter 18. Bright and early the next morning, Kyle, his teammates, and their chaperones climbed into their bookmobile for the drive downtown to the Lemoncello Library. The adults sat up front with the driver. The kids were in the back with the books and a mini fridge stocked with chocolate milk, pop, and 6 different kinds of juice. So, said Miguel, did Andrew's weird uncle talk to any of you guys last night? He talked to me this morning, said Sierra, when I was on my way to the breakfast room. What do you want? Asked Kyle. He told me he could give me a go-to-college free card, said Sierra. Miguel nodded. Me too. And why wasn't I offered this card? Asked Akimi. Miguel shrugged. Maybe because I turned him down? So did I. Well, what did he want in exchange for the card? Asked Kyle. Worms for his baby bird, suggested Akimi. He didn't really say, replied Miguel. I turned him down before he had a chance. Me too. I also reminded him that winning a college scholarship isn't the only reason we're playing these games. Really? Said Akimi, arching an eyebrow. What other reason is there? To prove that we truly deserve to be crowned champions. Oh, right, that. This could be part of the game, said Kyle. Seriously? Yeah, Mr. Peckelman is kind of working for Mr. Lemoncello this week, running Olympia Village. And in Mr. Lemoncello's marvelously mysterious mineshaft game, there are devious dwarves who offer you cheat cards and then let you do stuff like use elf shovels even if you're not an elf. But elf shovels, you find out later if it's too late, can't dig up diamonds, only gold, and you need a ton of gold plus 2 diamonds to win. Sierra nodded very slowly. You've played a lot of Mr. Lemoncello's games, haven't you, Kyle? Enough to know that most of his cheat cards eventually come back to bite you in the butt. When Kyle and his teammates entered the library's grand rotunda, the room was more crowded than they had ever seen it. The spectators staring up in the Wonder Dome were seated at the 4 rings of tables. The players from the 7 other teams milled around, oohing and awing at things Kyle and his friends now took for granted, like the holographic statues perched on their pedestals, peering down at the crowd below. The statues were waving at people who were waving up at them. Kyle recognized only one of the projected images, a greenish bald guy wearing bifocals and pants cut off at the knees and tugging on a kite string. This had to be Benjamin Franklin. Who are those other people? He whispered. Famous librarians, said Miguel. Melvin Dewey, Erasthothenes, St. Lawrence, Lewis Carroll, the usual suspects. Kyle nodded. He was so glad Miguel was on his team. In honor of the ancient Olympic Games, reported Akimi, they have all sorts of Grecian urns up in the art and artifacts room, and you can check out Mr. Lemoncello's old gym shoes in the Lemoncello-abilia room on the 3rd floor. Bring a gas mask. I heard Muhammad Ali is boxing Rocky Balboa in the IMAX theater, added Miguel. Winner wrestles Hercules. Up on the Wonder Dome screens, Kyle saw the enormous image of 8 empty library carts and 2 rolling bins bulging with books. They seemed to be parked in front of the doors to the OOO's Dewey Decimal Room on the 2nd floor. Welcome, children, cried a trembling voice. I'm so glad you are all finally here. What took you so long? Kyle looked toward the circulation desk in the center of the round room. Usually that was where Dr. Zinchenko and her staff worked, helping people find whatever information or books they were looking for. During the escape game, a holographic version of Mr. Lemoncello's favorite childhood librarian, Mrs. Gail Tobin, had popped in to help administer clues. Today's guest librarian hologram, the lady with the trembling voice, was somebody new. She looked frazzled, worn out, the way teachers sometimes look at the end of a really long day right before spring break. My name is Lonnie Gauze, said the shaky see-through librarian. She was nervously nibbling a pencil as though it were a cob of corn. I was the very last librarian at the old Alexandriaville Public Library, the one they bulldozed down so they could build a parking garage. She started sobbing. Oh, the horror, the horror. Thank you, Mrs. Gauze, said Dr. Zinchenko, striding into the room from the section of the fiction bookshelves that swung open like a hidden passageway in a castle. Welcome to the day of our competition, Library Olympians. Today we begin our quest for champions. Yes, cried the holographic librarian, we need champions. We also need defenders. We needed them all those years ago when first books started disappearing off the shelves, and then the wrecking balls rumbled up Main Street. Oh, the horror, the horror! Dr. Zinchenko pointed and clicked a miniature remote at the wailing librarian, and the librarian disappeared. Perhaps we'll hear more from Mrs. Gauze later. Now, however, it is time for our first game. Will all 32 contestants please report to the second floor balcony? Spectators, you may witness the event live and in high-definition color up on the Wonder Dome. This way, you guys, Kyle said to the kids from out of town as he headed toward the nearest spiral staircase, and all the library Olympians followed and clomped up the metal steps. Kindly report to your assigned library cart, said a soothing female voice oozing out of the second floor's ceiling speakers. And remember, free people read freely. Marjorie Muldaur, walking with her Midwestern team, chuffed a sarcastic laugh. Thanks for the sappy bumper sticker, ceiling lady. The second floor was carpeted circular balcony with the same circumference as the rotunda reading room below. The 12-foot wide balcony was lined with evenly spaced massive wooden doors that opened up into the 10 Dewey Decimal rooms. 8 library carts, 3 tiers of slanted shelves on wheels, were lined up in front of the door to the OOO's room. Across from them stood 2 canvas bins, both loaded with books. Each library cart was labeled with 2 laminated cards, one with the name of a team and the other designating a range of Dewey Decimal numbers. The Hometown Heroes empty cart was labeled 900 to 999. That's for history and geography, Miguel reminded Kyle. Welcome to our first event, the library card relay race, said Dr. Zinchenko, coming through another secret panel. This one was cut into the back of a curved fiction bookshelf, which climbed past the second floor on their way up to the dome. To win this game, your team must be the first to complete 4 laps of the second floor balcony without spilling any of the 36 books stacked on your rolling shelves, no matter the obstacles. Marjorie Muldaur's arm shot up. Yes, said Dr. Zinchenko. There aren't any books in the library carts. No? Oh, that's right. The library has been closed for a week, so all of the recently returned books, exactly 288 different titles, 36 from each of the 8 different Dewey categories, are presently stored in one of these 2 rolling bins. You must find the books that belong in your group, carefully load your cart, and then each team member must complete 1 full lap of the balcony and cleanly pass the cart off to the next relay racer. The team that finishes first will take home today's first medal and move closer to their college scholarships. I suggest choosing your swiftest cart pusher for the final leg. That's you, Akimi, said Kyle. You're the fastest. I'm the slowest, said Miguel. I'm pretty slow, too, added Sierra. I'm more of a reader than a racer. That's okay, said Kyle. You two will be in charge of finding our books for us. The numbers should be on the spine, said Miguel. Look for anything that starts with a 9. By the way, said Dr. Zinchenko, to make this game more challenging, we have temporarily covered up all the call numbers on the spines of the books in the bins. Okay, said Akimi. So much for that idea. Find books about historical events and places you've always wanted to visit, suggested Sierra. How about the bathroom, said Kyle, feeling queasy. I wouldn't mind visiting that right now. Relax, bro. Sierra and I will load the carts, and you and Akimi need to run real fast once it's good to go. You take the first leg, said Akimi. Try to buy us an early lead. Kyle nodded. He was pretty swift, not as fast as Akimi, but thanks to his big brother, Mike, the jock, he was used to running wind sprints. I'll give him my best shot. Please stand by, said the soothing ceiling voice. Once your cart is fully loaded, do not block, trip, or shove the other teams. Do not interfere with their cart handoffs. In other words, said a new voice in the ceiling, Mr. Lemoncello's, play nice, cart runners, not to be confused with kite runners, a book you should all definitely read when you're a little older. Dr. Zinchenko, let the book sorting shindig begin. Dr. Zinchenko raised her arm. She was holding a fancy tasseled bookmark between her fingers as if it were a small flag. On your mark, get set, and go. And she lowered the bookmark. The race was on.